So,
Make sure the lights out of the way.
all right. So here we are once again, Black on Black. I'm back here with my brother, and I gotta tell you, we know nothing about technology. No, I'm not gonna say we. I'm gonna say he. But I was trying to be nice. You know what I mean? It took us about a half an hour to get this thing going, but we are here and in effect and everything. And I like to call this Black on Kang, because that's what our big topic I think we're going to talk about and everything is about Jonathan Majors. Hopefully the rumors are true, becoming the new MCU villain known as Kang the Conqueror. Right. So first of all, welcome, Addy. What's up, man? What do you think about that? A brother becoming a villain in the Marvel universe.
I'm cool. I hope you're good. It's something we've been waiting for all the time. Yeah.
Are you lagging,
bro? I think
lagging?
That's the most important thing.
No, I didn't hear what you said because there you froze for a bit.
Oh no, I'm saying that it's a good thing that Hollywood is paying attention to more black actors, and part of me thinks that people will feel less issue, right, with a black villain than a black superhero.
Well, less issue. The closest.
For example.
Go ahead. For example.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the closest we come to a black.
No, well.
Let me just say what I'm saying. You interrupt. The closest we come to a black villain is Denzel Washington in American Gangster. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that, with Ridley Scott, and doing what was it, Bumpy Morgan, the Godfather of Harlem and stuff, which actually, I lived on that street, but where they used to run numbers out of. But in that aspect is that, it always seemed that the system, right, wouldn't want to be accused, right? So they don't portray black villains as much as they possibly could. So, you're constantly saying, we'll give you a black hero. Look, we gave you that, and, but, actors, and you as an actor will agree, is that, you love the juicier roles of being the villain. You're right, the antagonist. That's where a lot of the juice is.
Yeah, definitely.
Empire with Terrence Howard, was fantastic until it fell. But like in that aspect is that we love the, want to do everything, and so it's about time that Marvel is jumping on this wheel that has been spinning for some time. Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited.
I fully agree with you. I'm excited too, but I want to say that for people that are watching, you can't just say that Denzel Washington might have been the only black villain. Because also in the universe, more DC, there was Black Manta.
Black who? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, we counted on our fingers how many times a black man played the villain. You know what I mean? In the major film.
No, we told that.
What?
I don't know. Even James Bond, there were a couple of black villains, proper black villains.
Oh yeah, To Live and Die in L.A. Yaphet Kotto. Yeah, of course. I mean, that was fantastic. Chiwetel Ejiofor played a black villain in Serenity. What was the name of that series? And everything like that Josh Whedon did and stuff like that.
Grace Jones was a black villain. Grace Jones was a black villain.
Oh yeah. Okay, Grace man. Jones. No, you're gonna go. Is this all about black villains? It's all about black villains. You're gonna do a black villain?
I think we should do a black villain.
Okay,
black on
okay,
black.
okay, okay.
You
All
know?
right, all right, all right. Yeah, Grace Jones was the villain, and everything like that. So I'm.
Godfrey Holder was a black villain.
Oh my God, yes, he was. But, but,
I
okay.
call his name because that's what. Yeah.
No, 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 you're right. But okay, so what's different about this one is that we always get the race blending thing, right? Where like Denzel Washington or Wesley Snipes will play white characters or make them black characters, Will Smith, and everything. But again, it will be mainly in heroic roles. But we have never really had a black actor play a white character's role. Like we never had the reverse.
Okay.
Now tell me when you saw that, when we saw the reverse. So usually it's kind of like you black, you stay in your box, right? And everything else like that. But Denzel will be like, yeah, I'll play that guy, even though it was written for a white guy. Let's just rework it so it's written for a black guy, which will add just some world construction, and everything like that, some past stuff. Like so that way he's a CIA or ex-hero or whatever it is and stuff like that. But this is, I believe, going to
Yeah.
be the first time that a black actor will be specifically playing a white character's role as a villain, and not just a villain, a major villain and everything. So could you agree on that, at least?
I could agree on that.
Yeah,
Could agree
so I
on
mean,
that.
it's big stuff, because if they could do it this time, they could do it again. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not like hey, let's make Tom Jefferson black. Well, they tried to do that in Hamilton, didn't
Yeah, but
they? But
yeah, but for me, not to get too nerdy, the way I understand Kang as a villain, there were different
yeah, yeah. Well, we're
iterations
gonna
of Kang,
well,
wasn't there?
yeah, 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 yeah. We're gonna
Right?
talk. We're gonna talk
Because
about that. We're gonna talk about that. There was different incarnations
yeah,
of Kang, and this is why
because
it's important.
so you need to tell me if I have it right or wrong, because I think that Kang, at least when I got into the series a little bit, Kang was Egyptian.
Yes,
All right.
Kang
So
did
of
go back
course
in time to
you
become an Egyptian.
expect him. Yeah. So in that history, I'd assume that he would be black. I'd assume that he wouldn't be white, unless we are doing a gods of Egypt or a Cleopatra
No, no, no. I
again,
mean,
and
but
he just happens to be white.
no, but see, this is the thing, right? Right. So let me go into a bit about
Mm.
Kang. Yeah. So I mean, like, because a lot of pundits haven't really actually delved into the history of Kang. So Kang is like a 40th century,
Yeah.
monarch, villain, despot, right? And like he was all like decked out, so he was, in full armor and face mask, right? So like you couldn't tell whether he was black or white, right? And that was the point. It
Yeah.
was like he was supposed to look even more alien-like, because he was more like oh man, what are those giant heads called? Hoteps or I was talking about it with James DeBow on another show. The Olmecs, right? So his head actually was kind of
Yeah.
like a little bit big in that aspect when he first appeared as an Avengers villain. And in that aspect is that, so he was just supposed to be really a normal guy from a future time that had all these advanced weaponry that, kind of like abracadabra, could look like magic, or it looked like he had powers and everything
Yeah.
else like that. So in his defeats, then it was like, oh, I'm going to take these guys out and everything else like that. And then, he decided that, like he would go back further into the past. And now
Yeah.
what happened is that as an interesting time traveling villain, they realized that he also could be a villain for the Fantastic Four, which were science fiction time travelers and all of that. So it was
Yeah. Yeah.
actually in the Fantastic Four comic that they traveled back into the past, like I think using one of like Dr. Doom's time platforms, and they encountered an Egyptian, a white Egyptian, right, named Rama Tut. Now, the thing about this white Egyptian scenario is you got to think that this is the 70s, yeah? So like, this is
Yeah,
when,
yeah,
we're growing up on Charlton Heston as Moses, So it really didn't seem weird, right? They weren't really thinking about Egypt and Africa and everything like that. So they're just thinking about, oh, here
mm-hmm.
we're going up against a pharaoh, and obviously he's white. So I
Yeah,
think they were a little bit, more intrinsic than they thought. But like, so we saw kind of like a barely clothed Kang, because he was always fully armored up. And this time he's like pretty
yeah,
much near naked. He got like the Egyptian headdress and all that. So he still had no powers, but like what surprised the Fantastic Four was how he could kind of like, take them out and do different things. So it became like one of those reveals that, wait, this pharaoh is a little bit more powerful. So instead of dealing with the alien scenario that ancient aliens
yeah.
invented everything, they tried to imply that a man from the future could invent things. So he could be more powerful being in the past of people who are supposedly more primitive. So like, so that was like the ingenious idea of Ramatut and everything. But so they decided to combine it and make it that Ramatut was Kang and everything. So when this is why this speculation is that if they introduce Kang in the Marvel Universe, like in Ant-Man 3, because that's what the story is that Ant-Man 3, Jonathan
Yeah,
Majors is joining the cast, and the presumption or the possibility is that he would be Kang. So like in that fashion is that like how much could they do? Will it be a time travel show? Will they do the Ramatut scenario and everything else like that? But the other thing that they would do with Kang over time is that then they created a future villain that was even more in the future, like more like from the end of time, called Immortus. And he had a
yeah,
big giant helmet, long coat, old, thing. But you could see his face. And then later on, it was revealed that he was another version of Kang. So there's like Kang in the far flung future. There's Kang in the future, the 40th century that he comes from. Then there's Kang all the way in the
yeah.
past, which is Ramatut. And then there's Kang in the present fighting the Avengers. So then obviously what they had realized is that with all of this time tampering, right? That he would create doppelgangers of himself, like what Barry did in The Flash. He would create time remnants. So those time remnants eventually became the Council of Kangs and everything. And so that is kind of like pretty much, kind of like the short and full story of Kang. So think of the potential that this could be, bringing this character into the Marvel Universe. You wouldn't bring him in as a one-off because he has too much of a rich tapestry to tap into, and too
Yeah.
much things that he's done to not just the Avengers, but to the Fantastic Four. And I can't recall. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's fought the Avengers as well. Because I think he had another incarnation as the Scarlet Centurion, who also created a character named Eric the Red, who I think also encountered the X-Men. So like in that faction is that, there's all these
It
variants
is.
of Kang. It's a bad story, man. It's bad. So can you imagine being selected to
It
play
is
this part,
amazing.
Eddie?
Firstly,
Yeah.
it is amazing that you're turning black on black into essentials. You understand? Thanks,
No, that's only
thanks,
I might
thanks for
be
the 10-minute history lesson. Thanks for the 10-minute history lesson.
sorry.
No,
Sorry.
but
I
out of
know,
what
I
you
know.
said,
Sorry for
no,
the ultra geeks
no,
out
but
there.
out of what you said,
Yeah.
if that's it, it's bloody amazing. Because what happens is that as all the rumblings been recently,
Mm.
the second right black characters, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they hardly ever have a rich story behind them.
No,
They are
not at
just
all.
there for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they are just there for show, for the poster, more or less,
Yeah,
you
which is
know.
what we
But
talked about
we
last show.
have
It's
this,
like you just bring a black character in just to say, "Hey, look, we got a black guy," or a black girl. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah. and we expect them to die in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So tell me what you think. I mean, I know I went a little bit geeky there, and maybe I have to do something on the essentials about it, as you just say. But I mean, what do you think about that? To be able to play a character, so look, put your actor head on, right? You're given the keys to the kingdom here, right? There's so many different possibilities. You can play an older version of yourself. You can play a younger version of yourself, but then also you could affect different periods of time. So the last thing I'll say to you before you answer is, the Rama Tut thing for me is fascinating, because now that we are all agreed in a world consciousness, you know, about the power of Africa and the original man and all of that other kind of stuff, can you imagine going back in time to affect that, right? You know, they don't have to do Egypt. They could do like Memnon, you know, or Carthage or whatever, or something like that. You know, they could go outside of the pyramids, you know, by sending Kang back into the past as a black man.
It's amazing how us writers think of possibilities, and it's equally disappointing how we see the outcome of what other people decide to do. You know, so
I would like people to come back to this show when it is revealed and it is done, and you know, like, oh wow, look at that speculation. You know, but you still haven't answered how you would feel playing this part.
Again, it's like, to me, it's like a Wolverine. You know, it's that big of a character who exists. He would exist in old X-Men and new X-Men, because he has this, you know, because of how his character is and how he regenerates. He is throughout. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to imagine an X-Men without the influence of Wolverine in it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's from the 70s X-Men. It's not classic. You know what I mean? But no, I get you.
So it's this kind of thing. And if this happens, I would hope after 2 or 3 shows, we get a Kang. You know? We get the studio saying, hey, let's do a Kang like we did a Harley Quinn. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. That is actually good, because with Disney Plus always giving us all of these different variants, right? You know, like with their Star Wars series, like I just heard that they're looking at doing a Mace Windu series. You know what I mean, with Samuel Jackson, but also with a younger version of Samuel Jackson. It would be interesting to do a series based around a villain, like they did with Harley Quinn, but not comical, that does all of this time travel stuff, so you could fit in all of these different, you know, adventures. That would actually be a really a Kang series. Addie said it first. I picked up on it and everything. A Kang series for Disney Plus. Awesome.
Yeah, I actually think it should be a series, because if there's a villain with such a rich history, a rich delve into time back and forth, I could see that could possibly be, you know, the black Doctor Who, the real black Doctor Who, you know, we could.
Yeah, no, exactly, because there's also times in the comics, like before it was revealed, there was times where Kang actually faced himself. So their idea of time wasn't about like you can't exist in this same place twice. So there were times where Kang will fight Immortus. I mean, well, Rama Tut will face off against Immortus and so forth and everything else like that. So, and it's intriguing, like when you like look back at those to know, I don't even know if they knew at the time that it was the same person. But now that in retrospect, it's the same person fighting himself, you know, because it's like, you know, traveling through times, like you will meet. So it's something that they should have done in Doctor Who in a way, where like, even though they had like the 3 doctors, 5 doctors and all that, it should have been like, yo, man, I'm here, you're here, what? You know what I mean? So that would have, that really cool.
Yeah, but also as you say that, coming back to the picking of a black actor for the character,
Yeah.
I think it's easy. Two ways about this. I also think it's easy to just put a character with a colored face, be it gray, blue, whatever color their face is, to make that character black.
You know
You
what?
know, which
This
I
is
am okay
wait.
with,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
which
this is
which which I'm okay with.
yeah.
But also, I have a problem with it too, because you know the whole psychology behind it is that these people are alien, black people are alien. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
mm.
How does that play into why not it just be a normal character? I'm not
Okay.
against that because I'm glad for it, but I'm just thinking at a deeper level.
No, but what I'm
All
just
these
wait.
aliens, of course, we always say there's always been this racial thing where
Mm-hmm.
a person would say, I don't care what color of the rainbow somebody is, you know?
Yeah,
You're either white or more black or brown or whatever, these skin tone colors. Once you say whatever color of the rainbow, you're talking about aliens. You're talking
yeah,
about things that, out there.
yeah,
So it also, on some level, gives us a divide. It's,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's negative, but it's also a hurdle
yeah.
to
But
cross.
what I wanted to say was is that it's like the Blue Man Group, right? So like where you had
Yeah.
the Kree in Marvel's Agents of Shield, right? When they were blue, right? Or you had Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen when he was blue, right? It looks, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it looks pretty damn good. But I think that like because of Kang, like I was looking at like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon of the Avengers and
Yeah.
stuff. And Kang does look kind of like black. His features are kind of black, like in his mask in there,
Yeah.
like showing his face inside the helmet. I was thinking, oh, I could see how they've been dealing with this, because it could be like you saying, he could just be having the helmet, and he doesn't have to be blue. He could be black and everything. But then the other is
Yeah.
the fact that what they were trying to do, I think, what Kang is that when he had that face mask, you didn't know who was in the helmet. And then that's why he could do Ramatut, because you didn't instantly think, oh, okay, there he is. Then there was also the early stuff around Nathaniel Richards and being like a descendant of Reed Richards and all of this other kind of stuff. But, what I'm just trying to say is they could deal with that. It's like you take off the helmet and, oh my God, he's black. Or, fuck it, he's black, and he doesn't have to be blue, and he just has the helmet, blue lighting in the helmet. Boom. There we go. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But that also being said, I just want to talk about Jonathan Majors, right? Because I mean, short show this week, but I've been watching Lovecraft Country. I demand that you start watching it. It
Yeah.
is awesome. It is the
I'll
weirdest, most
definitely speak.
craziest, whacked out thing you've ever seen. I mean, a guy gets a stiletto up the butt. But either way you look at it is, right, is that it starts off with John Carter, Aliens from Mars. I'm telling you, this is whacked out craziness. Big giant pig cows,
Okay.
vampires. It was, I'm not ruining anything. I'm supposed to be trying to get
Overload.
you to watch this show. It turns into the freaking Goonies. When you get to the Goonies episode, some people say it's like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I say that episode is the freaking Goonies and everything. It is like what I really love about the show is starring Journey Smollett Bell and Jonathan Majors. Right, it started off with
Yeah.
Carly P. Vance. You got Michael K. Williams. These are like, first of all, fantastic actors, but I've never seen it. This is like an adventure. Each episode is like a horror film. I actually jumped in my seat twice, right? It's like a horror
Yeah.
film. It's sci-fi. It's an adventure. It's each episode is a different. It's a different thing, and like it's just brilliant. But Jonathan Majors. Now, I've heard of this guy and everything. I saw the Five Bloods. He didn't really make a big impression on me in there. But in this show, this guy is amazing. I'm a guy and I can say it. He is amazing. I mean, he's like Mike Coulter and Luke Cage, but
Okay. Yeah.
his face is quintessential black, like us, bro. He's got that like wide nose,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like
Nose,
he's like a
big
pharaoh.
lips. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a pharaoh, he's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but that kind of face,
His-
when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could see Kang. I could see Kang all up in this piece. Do you know what I mean? And but it's just that like he plays it as like this kind of like geek who was abused as a kid, went into the army, became a man, became more muscular, goes home, and like and he's looking for his father and everything, and he's pulled into this adventure that it seemed like was his destiny all along, right? And in that fashion is that like it's a story that any white character would play, and we would all be like loving it like national treasure. But it just happens back. It's a black character playing it in the time, like in the times of like
definitely
50s and everything like that, and it's just like, oh, and then Journey. I've watched Journey since she was a kid, whatever. But this is amazing because, like, you thought she was great in as Black Canary in Birds of Prey. She just kicks ass in this. I don't mean like kicks ass like kung fu or whatever. I mean like she's just a strong, powerful female character, right? And they evened it out. There's things that she does to save him. She's not here for eye candy. She's not here as a damsel in distress. You know what I mean? Like she's got his
to be a
back.
part of it.
Yeah, it's fast. So I'm telling you, man. You said I don't know if I want to watch it. You need to watch this, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Yeah, and stuff like that. But so I just wanted to give that like thing on Lovecraft. But also too is because of our time on today. I just want to give you like you had like I think you had two big spiels that you want to talk about. So hit us with the Golden Girls first.
Well, okay. So recently they have started to bring a rendition of the Golden Girls, right? Popular in the 80s, early 90s.
I love the Golden Girls.
It is classic TV. I think it might have been one of the best shows on TV ever. I would consider one of the top 100.
Oh, Maud, B. Arthur was fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I think B. Arthur was a genius comedian in general, in her day. I heard her roast Pamela Anderson, which was like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah? So anyway, we have Tracy Ellis Ross, all right? Regina King, right? Alfred Woodard, Shana Land, and we have a black Golden Girls.
Did you say Regina King?
Regina King.
Your girl, Regina King?
You literally have Oscar girls, Golden Girls being Golden Girls. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
which is amazing.
That's her. You mean that's her accepting her age? You mean that's her accepting her age?
Regina King. Well, she is playing the character of B. Arthur. What B. Arthur was.
No way. Right? She's playing that. Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh man, and Alfred Woodard. So, don't tell me Alfred Woodard is the old Randy one or Sophia. Whatever. Which one is she?
Well, I won't tell you. Well, I won't.
Don't tell me.
Yes, she is.
She's the little one, Sophia. Then she's the. Oh,
yes.
Oh, I'm loving this, man.
Right, and Betty's white character is Diana Ross's daughter. So
Tracy Ellis.
You could imagine what that's like. Now, the interesting thing about it is all happening on Zoom. All right? So literally, they're reading the lines word for word as it happened on the show, but it's just on Zoom. I think it's great. Unfortunately, I don't like when these things kind of want to turn political, but I think it's a political move for the elections. You know what I mean? But
What do you mean? Getting
I would
old
like
people,
to
what do
see.
you mean? Getting old black people to kind of like comment on the state of the affairs that they find themselves in?
No, because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they have put
Uh,
ads, a lot of ads into these Zooms, so it's kind of like their platform.
yeah.
So I do feel it using black people to get a vote too. You know what I mean? But that said, after the lockdown, I would love to see a Golden Girls 2.0 with these chicks.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm not a huge Tracy Ellis Ross fan.
No,
She's growing on
I didn't
me.
like any of the girlfriend things or anything like that. No.
Oh my God, that was agonizing for me to watch.
Well, you know what,
Right?
bro?
But
That was the '90s, and we needed representation. So I give it that, but that wasn't for me. No.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's say that. All right. Let's
Anyway,
put it there.
what was the other one?
The other one was this French film, this independent French film, which was Cuties.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. The one was
They got a lot of they
a lot of
got
flack.
a lot of flack for having this little black girl twerking on a poster in the
I don't
US.
think it was the black girl. I think it was the white girl or the white African or whatever she. I haven't even watched the film, but it wasn't the black girl. The black girl is the star, and actually she was kind
Here's
of
what.
like, huh?
Yeah. Here's I watched the
Oh, will
entire
you
thing.
tell? Go ahead, tell.
I watched it.
Oh, right, you watched it.
Three
I didn't watch it.
sittings.
I watched you mean you had to turn it off? You mean?
Well, I started to watch it first thing in the morning because I'm like, why is my phone blowing up? So I just wanted to see what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, hey, all right, this is good. Let me watch this with my friend. And we started to watch it. And she, halfway through, she couldn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't look at it. Like, she couldn't. I maybe took about a day and I went back to it because I told myself, here's what. If you want to have a holistic view of the show, you can't judge a show by just watching half. Watch the whole thing. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch as a man. I think it'd be hard to watch as anybody,
Yeah.
And I've never liked the way how French people, personally, I've never liked the way how French people portray people outside of their community, right? I think that in French movies, there's French culture, which is good, and everything else is restrictive or bad. So I think they kind of put Muslims in a kind of a bad light. Mm. That said, if you approach the show with something, if you approach the show with the context of this woman is writing about her life growing up, the things that's in her life, that's clearly it. Might know, but I taught dance to 10-year-old girls at one point in time, and that's how they are. There's no if, but, so maybe that's how they dance.
Yeah.
They want to do Cardi B, they want to twerk, they want to do these things. You have to channel that in a certain way, and you have to understand that this is just kids exploring their body. All right? But they pushed it so far that it makes you feel uncomfortable. And I think it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Did they push it or did they display it? I mean, like, the thing about it is, no, okay, you said it's a female director, right? And stuff, and it was trying to show the exploitation of dancers or whatever it was, because a lot of people never talk about the story. So I mean, because I heard that whatever they tried to achieve, they were trying to achieve that this is bad, whatever, and all that. But as you just said, as a choreographer who probably was working with children at one point, I've worked with children in film stuff like that. Was it actually displaying what is going on, or was it intentionally what you would call say a male gaze type of film? So you could look at certain films where we'll have a young female lead in trouble, the babysitter films on Netflix or whatever, something like that. And but there's or those now they got these films on Instagram, not on Instagram, but about the Instagram and about, being bullied and all that. But they'll choose actresses, young actresses that really look like, oh, okay, yeah, like a male gaze kind of scenario, right? So what I'm just trying to say
I think
was that the intention of this filmmaker? Was he trying to showcase this in a lascivious way, or did people go, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should not be watching this? And everything, and then start the whole let's tear down Netflix. I mean, that's what I'm asking you, because you've actually
they
seen the film and I have not.
I think it's I think it's genius, and I hate to say male gaze. All right,
Yeah, no, it's a
I hate
term.
to
I
say
know.
that
I get
because cause yeah, it's yeah, I think it's a bad term, and it reduces something to what I think it's not, because I don't think all men look at things like that. All right, but here's where I think the directing, if that's the reaction they wanted to get, it was spot on. Because there was this one scene, and it's the scene where my girlfriend said she can't watch us anymore. They're all on like a staircase, yeah? Girl down, and they're making a video for social media, Instagram, whatever.
as they do.
And the camera slowly moves up the 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 girl's body from the legs doing dance steps, and then you reach the waist, and you see her kind of dances. So just say, okay, that's a girl. But then you reach the face, and it's the acting in the face where you can literally see she is mimicking what she sees in music videos. You
Yeah, like
know,
a
and
Cardi
that
B
would just
or
blow your mind.
yeah.
Biting your lip or sucking your finger or these kind of things. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because it was so in your face. But I think it's an important film for now, especially as we have kids growing up in this age. You can see worse than that. You can see worse than that on Instagram. These are how girls are. And I think we need to pay attention to how children interact with technology. It spoke to a lot of things, but it is an uncomfortable watch.
Yeah, no. I dig that. I mean, somebody even compared it though to what is it called? Tiaras. Moms and tiaras. Remember those shows that used to come on
Yeah,
the Discovery Channel where
yeah. Dance
the moms
moms
with
and
the
stuff like that.
dance moms so I mean, like, those were really tragic as well, because it was all about like the moms putting their daughters, hoping that they get big contracts and all of this other kind of stuff. So I mean, in that fashion, is Cuties like a film version of that?
I think that no, because what Cuties did was take away the parental influence.
Right,
To
because
me,
it
it
was
was
the girls
very
on their own without the
anti-parent.
parents. See,
Yeah, it
that's the
was
difference.
very
That's the difference, isn't it?
anti-parent. It was very, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the difference I found with what you were talking about just now is that here's what girls are dancing, but the mother's right there. Has she would have a line that she might not cross with her child.
Yeah.
There's somebody to protect her if something happens or something can happen. There's somebody to protect her. But in this film, you literally see girls go under a bridge, on a train track, dancing like this.
Yeah.
You see how little girls try to be adults. I find nothing with the movie. I think it's opening your eyes more to what's happening now.
But
Than
okay,
anything else.
so
And
the last thing is, the girls, when they were doing all these things, they were amongst themselves, right?
yeah,
So it wasn't like
yeah,
they were doing it for adults, especially like adult
yeah,
males. It was like
yeah,
they were
yeah.
on their own, what they do. And I think in the trailer, it's like as another girl watches them, right? So it was like we're inside the bubble of their world, aren't we? So I mean, like, in that
Actually,
aspect, is
no. It stepped out a little bit because they were doing this to get on a dance
oh,
show,
to get on the
to
dance
win a
show.
dance
Yeah. Well,
competition.
obviously, did they
So,
get on the dance show?
you know,
Did they get on the dance show?
yes, they did, but the girl, not even spoiling it, but the girl at the end of it, she kind of realized that this is not where she needs to be.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. That somebody said that there was a message. There, yeah. But this is what I mean. Somebody said who actually watched the film said that there's a message to it, right? Like she thinks, like she gets drawn in, right? She gets drawn into doing this, being this way, and then she comes to realizing that maybe this is not how I want to be. So there's that story.
You know what? I linked this show to when I first started to watch it. I instantly thought Footloose. You know?
Well, somebody said that. Somebody said that.
Girl, yeah. Mm-hmm. This strange girl going into this place, and she just really wants to fit in. Yeah. And how they do it is dance. You know? And but here's what. And as I'm talking to you about it, I have less of an issue with this show because I remember growing up, my grandmother said, never let anybody tell you that what you're doing is vulgar. Because when she was her age, they said the same thing. You know? So the standards kind of change as the ages go.
I mean, the thing about it is, I mean, just and ending on that, I think is the issue is this was a film that was made. There was attention that it was made, and like, was it a good film? You know, it's a matter of opinion. But for people to tear down the film and also try to tear down a network that's displaying the film without even seeing the film, I think is wrong. And I think that for for people to assume that the film is one thing, then that's where you always have to take it back to the mirror, of yourself. It's like if you think that this is wrong, well, okay. But that being said, but no, I mean, listen. So, good film. Do you think it was a good film?
I think it was a good film. I think it was a well thought out film, and a good film because of you look at what the director is trying to do. The writing to me was the weakest part of the film.
Yeah. Could it be the acting? Could it be the acting? What about the acting?
I think maybe it's because I was lazy and I wanted to see the subtitles. But that said, the lead girl barely spoke. I think in 10 years, in 20 years, she will be like an A-list actor because she acted with her entire body, her face.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like when you look into her eyes, you can tell everything about it.
Yeah.
So again, because she's French and because they're in France and because maybe they have a different culture, the words she says, she barely speaks. If she has 10 pages of dialogue, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, nice one. All right. Well, anyway, man. Thanks for that, Addy.
Before we go.
You
know
how Addy never knows how to end these things. For me, what?
Well, here's what people want to know things, and I am here to give information.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You understand?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
When I say Miles Mitchell, what do you think?
Who?
Miles Mitchell.
Miles Mitchell? I don't know who that is.
Okay. When I say Marcus Pollock, what do you say? What do you think?
Marcus Pollock?
Know who that is?
No.
Yeah. All right. I'm saying all of this to come up to say that a huge chunk, let's say a huge chunk, but a good chunk of black sitcoms from the 90s are coming to Netflix.
Oh, right. Moesha, yeah.
Sister, The Parkers, Half and Half, One-on-One, Girlfriends, they're all coming to Netflix.
That was the reason why I didn't watch these shows when they were out. It's UPN on Netflix. It's something we don't need.
That's what it is.
Where's Malcolm and Eddie and stuff? You know what I mean? Homeboys in Space. You know what I mean? I don't get it. You know what? If it was What's Happening, that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, there are certain ethnic shows about time that come back.
I would have liked hanging with Mr. Cooper in that set, but that would have been my favorite out of the set. Yeah. I am glad for I'm happy for getting more representation on Netflix. And I'm also happy that kids can see this now to, get an idea of, although the industry is the way it is now, we still had these things. You know, we still were able to tell our stories in our own way back then.
I don't know, bro. But you also didn't say living single. I think what happens is, like, especially with Moesha. I mean, I'm from that time, bro.
Yeah.
With Moesha, it created this kind of like color coordinated, do the right thing kind of universe. You know, where black people just wore like bright colors like yellow and purples and greens. And we really didn't do that, but then we watched these shows and started doing it. But it was like they were trying to create a friendly universe. And the writing, when you actually start watching those, you'll agree that the writing was pretty stale and static, because it wasn't as real as you like to think. You know, they may have had like one black person in the writer's room, but the showrunners were more than likely white. You know, it was like, well, we gotta deliver what we're told to deliver, and so we're gonna create these concept situations that we feel are palatable, and that's why, you know, when Roseanne came in, it totally ripped open the universe. It was like a hand grenade in a room, you know, Roseanne, because when Roseanne came on, right, the blue collar Roseanne Barr, she came on in the middle of all these shows you're talking about, because this was like, there was a whole network dedicated to black program called UPN and everything like that. And, you know, you're talking about a package deal that Netflix had bought and figured, hey, this looks black enough, and they're putting it on. And to me, they didn't pick the right stuff. If they wanted to try and show some ethnic diversity, they would have looked at different programming, but they didn't. They picked that. And I'm telling you, bro, watch it for yourself. I grew up in that universe, and you know,
I grew up in it too. I like, you know.
You like Moesha, though, did you?
For the first two seasons. Come on.
You liked yourself some bread.
I want to say it. You see, I want to say the words, but I don't know how it's going to come out.
What words? Don't say the N-word.
When you're young, I have to say when I'm young, because I can't say it now. Young Brandy was everything.
Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you were young, so you could say that. Yeah. You could say that. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, the thing about it is that, like, I mean, you know, Sister, you know, was pretty cool, because, you know, you had these late black twins and everything like that. But beyond all of that, I mean, you know, I mean, I think Fresh Prince is already on there, and I don't even bother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not interested.
Okay.
I'm not interested in that color. I wouldn't even call it color coordinated, but the color abstract world of the 90s that they thought black people lived in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but most shows were like that.
I know. We had no choice but to watch it. That's why they were successful. That's why they were successful. We had no choice but to watch it.
Not only black sitcoms. I think all sitcoms of that era were heavily were not made in a writer's room. It was done in a boardroom. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but this
all
is why
those shows from that era, and not only black shows, I'm talking about all shows across the board.
I know, but this is why I just said that
place,
Roseanne Barr.
All these shows were...
Oh my God! Did you just say what place? What place did you say?
Melrose Place.
Oh, Melrose Place. Oh, that's different. But that's the whole.
Fan? What the hell?
Maybe a little bit, but not really. Beverly Hills 90210. It shows you what.
I always felt that 90210 was good, but if you want to pretend to be an adult, you watch Melrose Place.
Pretend to be an adult. It was pretty cosmopolitan. That, I think. Oh my God! You know how tame Melrose Place must be to what they got on now. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it must have seemed, woo, wow, what are we watching here? But then compared to now, it just shows you the mentality of the 90s, man, and everything like that. But anyway, we got to go. So once again, I'm Chief Johnson Leach. You've been watching Black on Black. Please like and subscribe because I know that some people have been starting to watch this show as it returns. And I'm hoping that you're liking the topics. You can always comment down below as to what your opinions are on those things. And maybe we'll see the comments and comment back and everything. But I'm enjoying always talking to my brother Addy. Say what up, Addy.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's all he does.
See you back next time.
See you back next time.
We're all here. We're here just doing Black on Black.
Just doing Black on Black, man.
Come back here. Just doing Black on Black.
Yeah. All right, man. Peace out.